We're Nathan and Shannon, two Canadians with our dog Indigo, living on an electric narrowboat and exploring the canals of the UK. We have been using North Kilworth Marina as a base while work is finished on our narrowboat, so it seems only fitting that we show you a little of the local area. North Kilworth is a charming village nestled in the heart of rural Leicestershire. With rolling countryside views, it has a rich history and offers a glimpse into traditional English village life. We walk down Dag Lane, a scene of a murder in 1382. The court records show that the rector and his servant were found guilty of bumping off one Nicholas Wiseman over a property dispute. They then received a royal pardon. To me, this sounds like a great British murder TV episode. There seems to be so much more to the story. St. Andrew's Church is believed to be built during the reign of King Henry II in the latter half of the 12th century. We had a fun day exploring the village. A few days later, we walked a mile up the road to Husband's Bosworth. If so inclined, you can visit Armageddon and try your hand at driving a tank. Tempting, but we'll stick to the narrowboat for now.
Husband's Bosworth is a village not much bigger than North Kilworth, but it does have the obligatory church, pub and primary school, as well as a good-sized grocery store, a medical clinic, a few other professional services, and many beautiful brick houses. It is home to one of the oldest continuously used airfields in the UK, and now a base for the Glider Club, as we saw in our last video. A small trail through the farm fields leads back to the Grand Union Canal, which we followed back home to the boat. At Husband's Bosworth Tunnel, the towpath goes overland, and back in the day, the horses would have been led over the hill, while the crew would lie on planks at the front of the boat and leg it through the tunnel, walking on the side of the tunnel to push the boat through. We walked over the hill, the tunnel about 20 meters or 60 feet below this field.
Our last few days with the car, so we took the bikes on a trail around Pittsford Water. Indigo, as always, enjoyed a mix of running and riding. She is an adventure dog. Today we drove back to Coventry and dropped off the hire car. Boat, bike, and public transportation from here on out. We walked along the canal and then to the town centre, enjoying the sights along the way. We wandered into the Holy Trinity of Coventry. It dates back to the 12th century and is one of the oldest buildings in the city. The church is renowned for its stunning Doom painting, a large medieval mural depicting the Last Judgment. This artwork is one of the finest surviving examples in England and was rediscovered during restoration in the 19th century. We continued next door to the Coventry Cathedral, a remarkable symbol of both destruction and reconciliation. The original medieval cathedral was largely destroyed during the Coventry Blitz in 1940, but its striking ruins remain as a memorial. The new cathedral is notable for its modernist architecture and powerful artwork. These clay pots are intended to hold written prayers, burdens, or hopes from visitors. The use of clay reflects humility and the idea that everyone, regardless of background, can contribute to the healing and peace for which the cathedral stands. This is also reflected in its iconic charred cross, made from roof beams salvaged from the ruins. With low water levels, the CRT has closed Foxton and Watford Locks, so we are only able to cruise the 25 miles of canals between. Cruising down the Grand Union Canal right now, and we're going to go under Bridge 42 and then try to go up the Welford Arm. This peaceful branch is just over a mile long, winding gently through the Leicestershire countryside. Made it to the lock landing. There's just one lock which raised Rayleigh Scattering 2.4 meters, about 8 feet, and shortly after ends at Welford Wharf, where there are a fair number of two-day moorings on the towpath side. The arm was originally built to supply water to the canal, and still serves as an essential feeder from the Welford and Sulby reservoirs. But nowadays it offers boaters a tranquil mooring spot and a gateway to the village and the pub, the Wharf Inn, which is situated conveniently right where the canal terminates.
Just order one order of fish and chips.
This is one order of fish and chips that we're sharing.
Imagine eating the whole thing. We'll share.
The Welford Wharf was reopened in 1969 after years of neglect. At the back of the wharf stands the remains of the Welford lime kilns. And as demand for lime grew in the early 1800s, barges began transporting more and more limestone along the canal networks to the kilns, where it was burnt, turned into lime, and put to use as fertilizer by local farmers. The 7 Welford kilns were built in phases from 1820 and stayed in operation until the early 1930s.
Indigo's probably happy to be inside. Time to go out. Well done. Very dramatic. Thunder, lightning, oh so frightening.
Just as quickly as it had begun, the storm passed and we continued on our journey with blue skies.
Today we caught the bus to Market Harbour. It is home to the famous old grammar school, a unique timber-framed building standing on wood stilts, and dates back to 1614.
Sicilian lemon something something.
We enjoyed a craft market taking place in the town centre and wandered the streets and shops along the way, ending with a visit to the Red Cow pub with its historical charm and rustic decor.
Leaving our Narrowboat in North Kilworth Marina, we travelled by bus, train, subway, and train again to Colchester. We'd been hired to look after Moon, our daughter and son-in-law's dog, for a week. We strolled the streets, finding shops we missed on our last visit, and revisited some of the historical sites, like the iconic Colchester Water Tower, also known locally as Jumbo, built in 1883, and the Roman Wall, built around 65 to 80 AD. It is one of the oldest and most significant Roman structures in Britain, originally standing 6 meters high and stretching over 2,800 meters to encircle what was then the Roman town of Camulodunum.
It's our third time to Colchester, so we thought we'd better come actually and do the castle for the first time. So we're going to go explore Colchester Castle, built around the 1066 when the Normans first came here, and built upon a Roman temple. And so I think you can see some of the ruins of the Roman temple outside the foundations, but the actual castle itself, well, it's right there.
Colchester Castle is home to a renowned museum that showcases the rich history of the town, from its Roman origins to the present day. Housed within the Norman keep itself, the museum features fascinating exhibits well laid out from the Iron Age to present day. If so inclined, you can take a guided tour down through 2,000 years of history to the Roman vaults, the foundations of the Temple of Claudius, and then take the great stairs for an unrivaled view of Colchester from the castle roof.
we walk back, what do you think of the Colchester Castle?
It was cool because it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting a castle inside. You can still see the old castle, but they kind of built a building inside it and then put all their finds on display.
Yeah, all the way back to pre-Roman, through the Romans, and to modern day. Yeah, it was cool.
We were given tickets to attend the Duxford Battle of Britain Air Show, and we had certainly been looking forward to it for weeks. The excitement was palpable from the moment we arrived, with the roar of vintage aircraft engines filling the skies, an incredible sense of history in the air. Duxford, as a former RAF base, set a perfect scene for this iconic event, with Spitfires, Hurricanes, and even a Lancaster bomber taking to the skies in breathtaking formation displays.
When RAF aircraft, of course, were a common enough sight in this particular area.
If you were ever near Cambridge in September, the Duxford Air Show is an unmissable event that brings history vividly to life. Walking along the flight line, we got up close to these legendary machines and chatted with passionate reenactors in period uniforms, making the experience feel immersive and truly authentic. The aerial displays were both thrilling and moving, especially during the commemorative flypast, which paid tribute to the bravery of the pilots who defended Britain during World War II. The sound of 15 Spitfires and 7 Hurricanes sweeping past was a sight to behold. Between the aerobatics and the ground exhibits, complete with vintage vehicles and wartime music, there was never a dull moment. They had a demonstration of a Spitfire Merlin engine, its 12 cylinders of 24 liters and 1,000 horsepower winding to a roar as the crowd, mere meters away, experienced the power of the prop wash. I might have tried this if we didn't have to get back to Colchester to let the dogs out for a walk. At least, that's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. My stepsister, Kira, and her husband, Eris, were our first guests on board. They spend their summers in Greece, and on their way home to Toronto, they stopped in the UK to spend a few days with us in Colchester and on the Grand Union Canal. We took them up to Foxton Locks, where Eris explored the workings of a swing bridge. It requires a British Waterways key to unlock it, the same one used for the facilities, and to unlock the valves at the water points.
No walk on this side.
No, because it's just boats just going through. Yeah.
It's so great.
We walked up to the little village of Foxton and strolled over the canal bridge up to the church. This is a restored rare turret clock mechanism that was fitted within Foxton Church about 1630. I liked the list of vicars framed on the wall, dating back to 1109 AD. Back at the boat, we poodled along through the sleepy countryside back to North Kilworth. At Husband's Bosworth Tunnel, Eris and I sang a few lines of the Canadian National Anthem to enjoy the acoustics. Lucky for everyone, I did not record that, but Kira gave us a treat with her amazing vocal talent, which was quite beautiful.
Abandoned ship. Much success. Thank you, Nathan, for letting me steer your
Good job.
ship through that.
Good
That was
job
amazing.
steering the boat.
Excuse me while I change my pants.
Further to that, once home, Kira sent me a photo of an oil painting she is working on, inspired by one of the many canal bridges we passed under. Oh, to be so talented. Amazing. Back at North Kilworth Marina, we partook in the bingo being hosted at the Boaters Lounge. A fun social event. More friends were coming though, so we had Tesco deliver a wagon of groceries and gave Indigo a shower on the stern deck so she was presentable.
What'd you think? A scale of 1 to 10? What was that?
But our little blanket is good because it's so thick that it soaks up all the water. And after a minute, she's pretty well as dry as she can get.
Our friends, Glenn and Gwyneth, arrived in Rugby via train from Manchester and caught an Uber to the marina. The next morning was a beautiful day for a cruise up to Foxton Locks. We plodded along at narrowboat speed, taking in the scenery and wildlife, all in the quiet splendor of Rayleigh Scattering's electric motor. At Foxton Locks, we spun around in the winding hole and moored at the top of the locks, still closed due to low water levels in the reservoirs. A good time for Glenn to hang out some clothes to dry. Doing laundry with an audience. The Foxton Locks were constructed between 1810 and 1814 by the Grand Junction Canal Company. The staircase of 10 narrow locks was designed to allow narrowboats to climb or descend a total of 75 feet, or 23 meters, and they became a vital link in the Grand Union Canal network, enabling the efficient movement of goods and materials between the Midlands and London.
On the man-made hill above the lock ponds, the Foxton Incline Plane was built and used from 1900 to 1910 before being decommissioned. Connecting to the same canals as the lock flight, it also has a rise or descent of 75 feet, 23 meters, and could move 4 boats, 2 up and 2 down, in 12 minutes. The same journey with 4 boats through the locks today takes over an hour and a half. The museum was open today, so we were able to learn a lot more about these marvelous feats of engineering from the lovely volunteers. The museum itself is a reconstruction of the building holding the steam engine that powers the inclined plane.
Student of life, I love that expression. So it comes to 16. Holding the tunnel up. So it's concrete arches that they build first. And then pile the earth on top of that. So it's a hollow hill. It's the same height as the top of the locks. At the bottom of it, they also dug out a bit of the canal, so around where the car park is at the moment, there's a little bit moorings down there. They would load into these caissons, these massive, huge caissons that were 80 foot wide along this way and 45 foot wide this way, so you could get 2 boats at a time in there. On top of here, there was another building that housed this huge cable drum that was nearly 2.5 inches thick, so it's a huge, thick piece of... In the heyday here, say 1920s, so 1820s, we had about 100 boats a day going up through the locks.
Wow.
By the time this was operating, we had about 30.
The Foxton Incline Plane was designed by Gordon Cale Thomas. He had to solve 3 problems while engineering the inclined plane. First, when the caisson at the bottom enters the water, it becomes lighter and the top caisson is too heavy to move. So he had the caisson rails slowly lessen their slope at the top to match the weight loss below. Now, the caisson would have to tilt as it approached the top, and water would pour out. So he had the front and back wheels on different tracks, the rear ones going deeper at the top to keep the caisson level. The last issue was getting the mast moving and pulling the bottom caisson through the water, thus the steam engine. Everything was pulled by a large 2.5-inch cable. In fact, the cable had reached its lifespan of 10 years, so with the decline in boat traffic, they reinstated the lock flight to lower operating costs. This volunteer tour guide explained how high the boats would be crossing the aqueduct into the caisson, and with no trees there was a stunning view that prompted boaters to call the lift the stairway to heaven.
Here they come.
Here we go.
We continued cruising south on the Grand Union Canal, back through Husband's Bosworth Tunnel, then up the Welford Arm. We ambled through the village of Welford and poked our heads into St. Mary's the Virgin Church, built in the 13th century. We continued south toward Watford Locks. We found the best arrangement is to give guests our bedroom and change the dinette table into a bed for ourselves. Indigo approved, and we certainly couldn't complain about the view in the morning. This setup lets us get started on breakfast if our guests want to sleep in, or, if so inclined, they can slip out the front door to the well deck and towpath for an early morning stroll. And on a day like today, that certainly has its appeal.
Here's our view this morning. And this is our typical guests here, relaxing with the dog in the morning, whatever day that happens to be. Got our laundry out, got more laundry out. Someone's doing a little bit of knitting. What do you have to say?
Knitting on this boat is incredibly relaxing and lovely, and looking out at the view, amazing. Excellent hosts, good breakfast, gonna give them a 5-star review, absolutely.
Ooh, you heard it here, folks. 5 stars. Going down, laundry day, more laundry. Back deck, under there somewhere is, oh hi! And why not get to read a book with this view? Absolutely beautiful.
Can't really see the view very well for all the laundry. The sun is fun.
We stopped at the village of Yelvertoft, home to St. Andrew's Church, which dates back to the 13th century. An interesting memoriam was posted, telling of 12 Canadians and 2 RAF men killed when their 2 bombers collided overhead in December 1944. One aircraft causing extensive damage to the church when it fell and exploded nearby. We found the countryside kitchen and shop, an honesty store with lots of local products and snacks, and a big thumbs up to the butcher and provisions shop, Squisito, Italian for exquisite, delicious, excellent, and the sausages and bacon certainly were. We also took a wander through the village of Crick, where we attended the Crick Boat Show in an earlier video. A charming place with friendly people and lots of nooks and crannies to explore. Go down and see where the rest of the crew is. Went through Crick, did a little bit of shopping, got some fruit, found some apples, some books from the book library. Everyone's reading, scrolling, enjoying the view. Apple cake recipe? Oh, yeah. Right, that'd be good. We spent the night in front of the Crick Tunnel. Next morning, we weighed anchor and set sail, so to speak, and entered the 1,397-meter tunnel. Completed in 1814, over 200 years ago, its age is shown by the limestone deposits from the ever-leaking roof. Funny to be using umbrellas with the ceiling just over your head. About 15 minutes later, we strolled out the other end. Always interesting as the brilliant light at the end of the tunnel fades to a multitude of colors. Our friends headed off the next day, but not before getting a photo op at the tiller. Okay, putting in a jump seat. So we measure twice, mark, drill with a 5mm bit, add threads with an M6 step, clean oil and shavings, test the thread, bolt bracket and mark other holes, and after trimming some wood to fit, we have a jump seat. Over the next week, we did various jobs as well as relax with snacks and a game on the stern deck. Soon, we were out again on the cut with my cousin Kari and her husband Frank from Norway. We headed up the Welford Arm, and while Kari was filming the serene landscape from the bow, we ran right into a tree that had fallen across the canal.
There's a tree down, so we had to slow down quick because all of a sudden we saw we couldn't get past it. The tree's kind of fallen over, so we cleared some of the branches off, and we're just going to pull the boat past it because I'm not sure what's underneath, but it should be fine to get through. And we'll let the CRT know that there's a tree kind of half down over the Welford Arm and go from there.
Now, in my defense, that tree was slightly blocking the canal last week, but you could brush past it. Now it was right down.
Got to the end of the Welford Arm and realized that when we stopped for lunch, I forgot the mooring chain. Remembered one, forgot the other one, so took the bike back, and it was in a 1 hour cruise. Took 5 minutes on the bike, so it wasn't too bad, but it was still there, so yay. Onward and upward, back to the pub, I think. Decided I should move some of these off to the side. So I phoned the CRT. They were delighted to be informed about it. We'll send someone out. There we go. Let's move it over a little bit. People can still walk through without having to step through it and trip.
We had tea on deck and ended the evening with dinner at the pub. The next day, we walked up to the Welford and Sulby reservoirs, which feed water to the Welford Arm and down to the Grand Union Canal. A dry summer has taken its toll on the water levels. It is easy to see why the Foxton and Watford Locks have had to remain closed. The Canal and River Trust were there assessing the situation, and from the conversation, it looks like the reservoirs are about as low as they can go. They must hold back some water for wildlife. We found an abandoned building as we walked around. If anyone knows what it was used for, please leave a comment. We continued south again, enjoying the scenery and blue skies along the way.
All of these places I've been, they don't feel like forever. But each step I'm taking, it seems like I'm finding myself. For gold and I've uncovered all kinds of treasure, but I'd take it all and I'd give it to somebody else, 'cause none of that means much. A little love would be enough. I'm on my way back home, and I know.
Once at Yalvertoft, we moored up and walked Carl and Frank to the village, where they caught a taxi to Rugby and then their train back to London.
We continued south to the last winding hole before the still closed Watford Lock flight, then reversed 200 meters to the top lock to fill with water. Heading north now, we moored up by Cracks Hill, just past Crick, and had a lovely stroll to the top with its magnificent views. The beacon here was first lit to welcome the millennium, and now forms part of the national chains of beacons to be lit on celebratory occasions. The next morning was a beautiful, foggy morning, so quiet and peaceful, if not a little chilly. So, when it's time to moor, boaters usually try to find a patch of Armco to tie up to. Armco is a type of safety rail made by the American Rolling Mill Company, and when installed on canals, it makes for an easy way to moor with ropes,
Nappy pin. Because it looks like a nappy pin. Decorative. Alright. Go. Turn. And the rope goes through my fingers.
or chains. Most people seem to prefer chains. You drop it behind the rail, and we found using a telescopic magnet collector a quick way to pull the chain up without getting your hands wet or falling in. Cruising in the mist is an interesting experience as bridges and trees loom out of the fog with an almost ghostly presence. Forested banks appear and disappear in the shifting gray light, their reflections merging with the water until it's hard to tell where land ends and the canal begins. Back at the marina, I added a magnetic switch for the light in the engine bay, and we did some more shopping in Market Harbour. We found a new house for Indigo, which lasted until her cousin came to visit. Our daughter and son-in-law got their first cruise on Rayleigh Scattering. Just one night, but a beautiful meander down the canal with all the colors of autumn. Thank you for joining us. On our next video, all the locks open for 1 week, and we make a mad dash to our winter mooring 85 miles away. Help others find us by subscribing, it's free, and giving us a thumbs up.